Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another week's assembly. We're another week into this crazy time that is lockdown, and actually, we have now done 12 weeks. 12 weeks since you've been at home, doing homeschooling since you've been away from school. I think so many of you will say in some ways it's gone so quickly and you can't believe we're halfway through June already. And then in other ways it's gone, days have been slow. Um, and I know that we'll have a mixed bag out there. But, it sounds as if we're moving towards some more restriction lifts and things starting to feel a little bit more normal in society. Some of you will be joining us back in school this week, year 10s and 12s. Some of you won't be yet. We've been in school as a staff and a leadership team more over the last few weeks, preparing for you to come back, and we're very much looking forward to that. School's certainly not the same without you guys, without your spirit, your laughter, your jokes, and just brightening the place up. And we can't wait to have you back and safely when we're ready to. We will be there. But we're thinking of you lots. And I thought I would start this week's assembly by just reflecting and allowing some time for us to reflect over the past 12 weeks. It's been a crazy time, not only for us individually, but for the world as a whole. This worldwide pandemic that we've been under, that no one ever expected. And no one realised quite how severe it would be. I remember back in January when we were preparing for the Thailand trip and it starting off in Asia and saying, oh, it'll be fine, we'll still be going to Thailand, it's nothing big, and how wrong we all were and how this is now going to impact our lives. But I think unanimously over the world, whilst obviously this has been an absolute tragedy, it's been surprising to lots of people how many positives have come out of this. And I think without realizing it and without preempting it, some positive things have happened. Now, globally, and I know the geography department have been talking about this, globally, one of the biggest positives to come out of this time that we've been in lockdown is the pollution and what's happening to climate change in the world. We've seen cities all around the world, pictures like this one, where you see the pictures before lockdown with those smoggy skies and the pictures afterwards, or during, I should say, where it's a bit eerie because there's no one there, but just how clear the skies are. The same in India here, smoggy, you could hardly see, to it being the least polluted it's been in years and years and years. And look at Los Angeles here, exactly the same. Those quiet roads, but those bright blue skies with that lack of smog and pollution. And I know those environmentalists out there will certainly be hoping that it makes people reflect and, hopefully we won't get back to where we were before and hopefully will remain. And I think no one at the beginning of the year predicted that we would have this positive impact, and how much that it has allowed society some time to recover. I think another thing that is worth thinking about and bearing in mind is the time that we've had at home and the extra time that we've been able to have to do things and to spend time doing things that we wouldn't normally be able to spend so much time doing. I think the whole nation has gone baking crazy. Certainly at the beginning of the pandemic, going into a supermarket and all of the bakery shelves being bare, you wouldn't be able to get self-raising flour or eggs anywhere because everyone was baking cakes, banana bread, you name it. It's been great to see so many of you guys baking at home. I've been watching on the design and technology, both the Twitter feed and the Instagram feed, amazing things. And only this week we've seen cookies and muffins and really, really great things that you guys have been able to cook. You've had that time at home, you've been developing those skills, which are just going to help so much when you come back into that kitchen in school next year. If you don't already follow the technology department's Twitter and Instagram, please do so, because there's amazing things. Likewise, I've been looking at the art department and some beautiful, beautiful paintings and sketches and artwork that you guys have been doing whilst you've had that time. And it's just wonderful to see your talents getting better and better, and you enjoying this so much. Those smiles on your faces when you send in your baked goods, it's brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Another thing I think that we've been all enjoying is having a bit more time to do some exercise. When I've seen lots of you coming into school, we've had the year 11s in last week collecting their leavers hoodies. We've had people coming in to get their new exercise books or different bits and pieces. And lots of you have been saying, oh, you've been focusing on your fitness and you've been doing some running or some practicing of your football in the garden. I know lots of you have been doing Joe Wicks and the Ferdinands and Mark Wright live each morning. And that's absolutely brilliant. I think it's exercise, it produces such positive endorphins, and it's helped so many people get through this tough period and help you feel mentally stronger and fitter and better. And well done to you guys who have been doing this. And I know that lots of you want to keep it up when you do come back. And then finally, I think that it's just worth bearing in mind how much it's brought us as a nation together in our communities. I think you probably never spent so much time, in your house with your siblings, your parents, your grandparents, whoever you may live with. Probably never seen your neighbours and those who live down your street so much, albeit at a social distance. And I think even though we're not with everyone, I think it's made us feel strong as a community. The praise and the support and the loyalty we all feel towards the NHS and those who have been working so hard, those key workers in every aspect of it. And it's really strengthened our community and our faith in each other, the goodwill that so many people in our society have. And these things, I don't know that we would have expected, that day in March when we were told we have to close up the school and go home. I don't know that we would have necessarily reflected on this. And I really want you guys to take the time. I want you to take the time now to just reflect on the last 12 weeks and have a think about those last 12 weeks. What have you enjoyed about those last 12 weeks? I know there's been times that have been tough. There will have been for all of us. But think about the positives for me. And, get a pen and paper or write it on your phone. What have you enjoyed about the last 12 weeks? Once you've done that, I want you to make a pledge to yourself. When we are back at school and full time and busy again, what would you like to continue making the time to do that you've been doing whilst we've been off? Is it spending more time with your family? Is it making sure you bake something each week? Is it making sure you do some exercise daily or a few times a week? What is it you think that you have done that you're pleased with yourself about and you would like to enjoy doing and carry on doing? Because I think that it's going to be important, and to take something positive from this experience, let's make sure that whatever we've enjoyed doing and we've been doing more of, we keep that going. We pledge to ourselves that we'll keep it going and keep going with it. And with that in mind, with your reflection, I've got a challenge for you. And this is for anyone in any year group. And I'd like you all to get involved. And even if you're in year 6 and you're watching this and you're coming to start us in September, you're part of our St. Joseph's community too. So you're involved as well. And what I want you to do is, based on your reflection and what you've been doing, what you've learned about yourself, about community, about society over lockdown, I would like you to get creative. And I would like you to create a rap or a poem or a song, a photo collage, a picture, short story, whatever you would like to represent your last 12 weeks of lockdown. So what have you been doing? Have you been baking? Have you been exercising? Have you been doing board games, jigsaws? You're thinking about lots of homeschooling, sitting on doddle? What have you been doing? Do something creative and send that in to me. You've got a week to do it. So I want it by Monday the 22nd, please, to r.morgans@st-josephs.slough.sch.uk, my school email. And I'll be sharing those and announcing winners with prizes for the top ones in the newsletter the following Friday. So get creative. We're living through history at the moment. Global history. In years to come, children will be studying this in their history lessons in school, and what you went through and how the world reacted to it. So it'd be amazing now if you do something to summarise and represent your last 12 weeks so that you've got that as a memento and you'll be able to share that in years to come with your children, grandchildren, whoever it might be. I know that might be a crazy thought for now, but it'd be a really, really good thing. And I really am excited at the prospect of receiving some of these because I've seen the artwork that you've been doing. I know there's some amazing musicians. Whatever you want, there's no limit. If you've got questions, feel free to ask me. But I'll take any creative format to represent what you want to remember of lockdown, what's been positive, and think about that. So you've got two challenges really. One is your creative and one is your pledge to yourself. Okay, now with that in mind, I want us to move forward and I want us to have a little think about the theme of the week this week and take some time to reflect. So in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Amen. I am the living bread which has come down from heaven. Anyone who eats this bread will live forever. And the bread that I shall give is my flesh for the life of the world. This week, the theme of the week is Corpus Christi, or focusing on the bread and what the bread and the Eucharist means to us and what Jesus meant by it. Sometimes we take the most basic and everyday things in our life for granted. Sometimes we overlook them. Sometimes we don't realise quite how special the most basic things are. During this time, during the last 12 weeks, I think some of us have realised quite how much some little things mean to us. And I think probably for some of us, we wouldn't have realised how much they meant to us before we didn't have them. I think seeing your friends every day, I think probably coming to school and just seeing people smile, hello, good morning, how are you? I think probably you didn't realise how much you like hearing that and how much you like being in school and how much you like being surrounded by people. Suddenly, now that we haven't got it, or the freedom to go to shops, the freedom to do whatever we want, might make us realise quite how special that is. And this is similar to the notion of bread. Bread is such a staple food and it's a very important part of many people's diets. But so often we don't pay much attention to it. Jesus was a person just like us, ordinary and special. And he told us that the bread from heaven, the living bread, and he is what makes our lives special. Now, during Mass, we remember and give thanks for this. When we gather together as a large family, as a community, we share the Eucharist, the meal, and we also share the life of Jesus. Now, having a little bit of bread, maybe when you're at home, we don't necessarily recognise the importance of it. But in the here and now of Mass under the Eucharist, it has a bigger significance to us. Jesus gave us a common food and told us to link and remember it with his special gift of eternal life. Eating food, sharing meals, day-to-day experience for most of us in the world. But when we eat that bread in Mass, it represents so much more. It represents something so much bigger and something so much more special. And by having that bread and the token, it symbolises and signifies a bigger meaning. And we take the time in Mass to reflect upon that. Now, during this week, be conscious of being life-giving to others. Some of us might be seeing individuals who have been living on their own. Those who've been living on their own for these 12 weeks are allowed to see another household now. So that might mean for some of you that you might see a grandparent, or you might see a friend or family member, and you might have a meal with them. And sharing that meal when they've been eating on their own for the last 12 weeks, or just being with you, will signify something so special to them. And I want you to be conscious of exactly what this life-giving means to you, but also means to others. In the same way that you would be conscious during the time that you're in Mass of what the bread signifies. It's that bigger picture. It has multitudes